Hello. I have been exploring this middle space between beauty and grief. And I have a retreat coming up, so I wanted to share a practice with you to help you sit between beauty and grief because it's always here, isn't it? All of it. The world is gorgeous and the world is broken, and this is just all true all at once. And it can get confusing and stressful at times. So, as we settle in for today, I invite you to just get quiet, centered, in whatever way feels good for you. It might be just sitting quietly for a minute, could be some gentle movement, whatever helps you come into a space of center, settle, quiet, and this moment now. This practice today is a practice of noticing. So we can hang on to that space of center, settle, and from that space today, encounter whatever it is that comes up for us. And just notice, how is it? What's happening? And then to get very curious about it. Um, that will give you the most fruitfulness from our time together. So again, touch into that space, that center, if you can find that groundedness, that alert, quiet presence right now. Notice what it feels like in your body. Or if you're having trouble getting to that space, just notice that as well and let it be okay. And from this beginning, we're just take a moment to be here on purpose, to call in whatever help from life, from God, guides, source, whatever is your word for that great mystery that's always pulsating right here. And we'll ask that presence, that love, that life to just dwell with us in this centered place as we look and as we notice and as we wonder. So, sitting in that centered place, I invite you to call to mind something wonderful, beautiful, joyful that you've encountered in the past 24 hours. Just let that, if there's a specific situation, a specific image, just let that arise for you. And if you feel like you haven't seen any beautiful things, any lovely things, any joyful things in the past 24 hours, just be in the space that you're in, take a look around and just see if there's something even simple and contrasting of colors or the sturdiness of whatever you're sitting on, the contentment or the restful peace that is that contact point. It doesn't have to be anything big, but it could be something big. And as you land in that spot, calling to mind something beautiful, joyful, good, just allow yourself to hold that in your mind, in your heart, in your soul, maybe, from this quiet center place, and just see what happens. As you hold this situation or image, sensation, what is it like? What comes for me this morning is some art that my kid did. They brought it down this morning and showed me these three mixed media art pieces representing life and death and rebirth. They were gorgeous. And I can feel both an expansiveness and some kind of energy rolling this way. I can feel a slight heaviness. And from this space of center, I can hold some space around these images, around this experience of my child sharing this art with me. The placement of the images, the use of the media, my pride and adoration. And just hold space for whatever is coming up here. If it's okay to just hold space for this beauty, just to feel into it, for this joy, for this sense of settled peace. To let that center space reach its arms so wide, it just holds, lets the joy bubble. I don't want to reinforce that whatever experience you're having, even if it's very different from me, is just right. It's not about having a particular experience. It's about noticing what experience is rising, to let it do so, to join it in some ways by holding a space for it to be as it is. Stay with whatever this is, as long as it's giving you something to ponder, something to feel, something to see. Then you can let that image or that situation go, to return back into that center of quiet, to just come fully present again now. And then I invite you to call to mind something difficult or hard from the past 24 hours. Just see what arises for you and be tender with yourself here. If it's something that feels pretty extreme, just let yourself sit with compassion. You don't have to go all the way deep into something if it's too distressing. So you call that to mind. You can either just touch the edges of it. If it's too intense, maybe this is not the thing to pick up right now. Could you find something, maybe a little something that's less hard? And again, if you can find something specific, this will be a little easier. A situation, an image. And as you, from this place of centeredness, hold this image or situation, if it's okay, we just create some space to witness it, noticing what happens in your body, your mind, your emotions. Anything that's difficult or challenging, heartbreaking, any kind of loss. And if you can, just keep your awareness in that centered place while you hold enough room for this difficulty to be here, for these feelings, for these sensations to just be here, to witness. Mm. What's coming for me is a sense of mixed sadness and appreciation for the earth and the land. I've been foraging something new lately, um, and it's wondrous. And I heard a story recently about folks after emancipation being freed and not needing really to work. They could collect enough food, sustenance, they could house and clothe themselves in an indigenous kind of way until the people in power made a lot of laws that said that they weren't allowed to uh, forage food anymore on the new private property. And I got an email this morning about Thanksgiving and the day of mourning that it is for Indigenous peoples. And as I sit with all of this, I can feel tightness in my chest and heaviness. I can feel both the deep sorrow of the ways we've scarred the land permanently, maybe not permanently, the ways we've changed it, the way we've limited people's access to land and to food. This is a great sadness for me. And again, the invitation is just to see if I can hold that space of peace. And inside that space of peace, hold this sadness, hold this loss. as devastating as it is, this is not the whole story because still I'm sitting here now and life continues. And again, to just notice what's here, to notice our response, the sensations, the feelings, to allow them to be exactly how and what they are. To notice them, if we can, from this space of spaciousness and peace. And at any time, if this gets too hard, just to turn back to compassion, that there's so much to grieve, that there's tightness in the body, that there are tears. And again, if and when that comes to its own stillness, or if it's just enough for today, just let that go and just return, if we can, to that center presence of peace, that primary upwelling energy and life force, and even back behind, before there was energy and life force. And for the next part of the practice, we're going to take that beauty and that grief. We're going to let them just have a conversation. This can happen in many different ways, and I'll just give you some options. So you could assign to each hand a character, a situation, the beauty, the difficulty, and let them have a little conversation back and forth where they're talking to one another, asking one another questions. See if they have wisdom for one another. These two aspects of life. And if you can stay in this center while both of those things are conversing, just noticing what's happening. Or you could just feel whatever the sensations are, tap into them again of that beautiful thing and that difficult thing. And let them move back and forth, perhaps to see if there's a non-verbal, non-cognitive kind of embodied thing that they want to tell each other about, or that they can integrate. Or you can just hold the space, make it big enough for all of these things to be included, and again, just see what happens. For me, I notice as these two things in me speak to one another, I notice the life and the death and the rebirth. That's always happening in the natural world. As things come into being, they're born, they sprout, they live, they die, and something else is born, something else continues, whether that's generations or some kind of new life. And how profound that is when we get drawn into or caught by sorrow, or pushing away joy, how we limit that movement. And so, in whatever way works for you, let these two converse with one another, holding that bigger space of life that includes everything. If you need more time, feel free to pause the video, but otherwise, when you are complete there, I invite you back to a steady resting in that center space. Let go of the exercise we just did, the practice. To let go of our image or situation that's beautiful or joyful, to let go of what's difficult, challenging, to just be here right now. And I invite you to take a moment to just be grateful for whatever you noticed today. May it continue to teach you, to open you, to let you land in the midst of everything, which is where love is, and to join in that power of love to open its arms to all things with the invitation to new life, to growth, to kindness, to compassion. Thank you for joining me today. I wish you deep peace in the midst of this beautiful, ever-changing landscape of life.